Survival mode feels like a permanent identity, but it's actually a temporary brain state that can be manually shifted. Once the brain learns to complete one healing loop, it gains momentum and it starts looking for other areas to heal. In this final video of our series, we are tying together everything we've learned to help you move from simply surviving to thriving. Awesome. In today's video, I am going to be sharing 2 facts that will inspire you to use the practices that we've discussed. Because if you're exhausted and depleted, these practices that we've gone through for the past 5 days, they are not just self-care routines that many people, who feel exhausted and depleted just might think it's a waste of time. No, these are actually 5-minute techniques that will help you to reduce significant stress in the quickest time to help you regain back autonomy and full access to your brain. Because you need more than to just manage stress. You need to retrain your nervous system to switch it from that dictatorship. So we're going to be talking about the 20% capacity reality and the snowball effect, one of my favorites. That's where your brain, kicks out. The brain often, what it will do is it will kick out painful information and leave it in this loop that it's endless in your system as if it's a threat happening to you 24/7. So that once you regulate your nervous system, that information finally reaches a specific station in the brain where it is designated and assigned a date stamp so that you can close that loop and it automatically starts to seek for other areas to heal. That's just amazing to me that we can retrain our nervous systems to work in our favors. So let's get started talking about how to do this. So the 20% capacity reality, or actually, let me start here. So what this guide, in a nutshell, and again, you can get your own free copy of this guide. But the purpose of this reset, this daily reset practices that you could just pick one, a day, or you can pick a couple. You can use them every time you notice that you are going into survival mode. So bottom line is, the reason why you want to use this reset, you want to use it like before you have very important conversations, because we can go into that fight, flight, freeze, fawn instead of being present and speaking our truth and being in our autonomy, being authentic. When you wake up and you feel anxious after you have a triggering interaction with someone, when you're procrastinating something that's really, really important before making big decisions, when you just possibly can't think straight, or anytime your body says it's just too much. Remember, you're not trying to be perfect at this. You're learning to co-regulate with yourself the way a loving parent would soothe a young child or a child, even a grown adult that they love. Just the way that a loving parent would soothe their child, you're reparenting yourself. It's progress over perfection. All right, let's share some goodies. Two deeply serving facts about survival mode. Number one, the 20% capacity reality. When your brain shifts into survival mode, did you know that it prioritizes the limbic system? And what that does is it shuts down your prefrontal cortex to about a 20% capacity, 20% effectiveness. Now, what this means is that that part of your brain that is responsible for high level reasoning, for creativity, for seeing multiple perspectives goes offline, literally is offline. So you aren't failing at life. You're not a failure. You're not failing at it, whatever you're doing. You're simply trying to solve complex problems with 20% of your brain power. Fact number two, the snowball effect of wellness. Your brain is a phenomenal data processor that wants to be well. Once you use somatic tools to complete a single healing loop, and we talked about healing loops in previous video, where your brain, so once you use somatic tools to complete a single healing loop, that's where your brain finally puts that date stamp. And it date stamps an old stressor as belonging to the past. So it's like puts it back in its category where it belongs, that this is in the past. You're not struggling with this. This is not a fear. This is not a problem today. So as it date stamps an old stressor as belonging to the past, it creates momentum. Your brain then begins to look for other sticky spots to heal automatically, creating a snowball effect of regulation that moves you from reaction to intentional choice. That is awesome. And that is worth doing all of the practices, picking just one. If just one is good to you, you do just the one. So, day one, we talked about the check in, and you learned that your body tells the truth. And I have placed this in a playlist. So you can look through the playlist. You can go back to day one if you missed it, and you can watch that video, and day two, and then day three, and then day four. We're on day five today. And day zero is when we prep. So for day one, the check in, you learn that your body tells the truth before your mind even catches up. Awareness is the first step in realizing you are in a survival dictatorship where choices aren't available. On day two, the regulation techniques. We learned instant regulation techniques. You gained verbs and you gained pointers to manually switch your brain state. And these aren't just self-care. They always speak to the body's native language, and it sends safety signals to the survival brain. That is the point of these 4 instant regulation techniques. Day 3, the decision tree. This tool helped you assess your capacity in real time. It gave you a map to decide whether to stay with a sensation or to let it and let it process, or to shift to a resource because the tsunami wave of stress was just too high for your current fitness level, which is always okay. On day 4, you learned to stop the shame spiral. You learned permission statements. Shame causes the brain to kick out the data, so it can't be processed. So it takes you out the healing loop. Permission statements allow that data back in. So it allows it back in so the healing loop can finally complete. That's just amazing. It's amazing. So the bottom line is that safety is not a luxury. It is a biological prerequisite for healing. By practicing these 4 days of action, you aren't just managing stress. You're providing the nervous system with the foundation that solidifies what's needed to deactivate old survival memories and finally come home to yourself. I have created this tailored report. It is yours to take. The link is either in it's in the description, and you can, it's a 4-day plan, 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes max. And it also has, or I have also created a quiz as well to help you determine, which survival mode you might be stuck in with some additional resources. But first, start with the guide. And if you have questions about any of the information in there, or you would like some to talk to me directly about what's going on, at this time of this date, the date that this is being recorded, it might not be if you're watching this a year from now, but at the time of this recording, I do have a few spots left for a conversation. There's no cost, and it is not a sales call. Of course, I always will offer whatever I have to offer to assist you more, but really, I would love to know how I could help and listen to you, because we all need to be listened to sometimes, And so it would be a great time for you to have some secure conversations about something that maybe you've just been too embarrassed to let anyone know about, or just confused overall with even wondering what's going on and if there is a problem. So that information will be in the link for you. All right, we'll continue to, if you haven't already, like this video or give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I will be back with some more very useful information to assist with getting out of surviving in the survival mode, for getting free so that you can thrive. My name is Lana McMurray, the owner and founder of Free to Thrive Coaching. I am a certified trained life coach. And